What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. We got a new bike sitting right in front of me. This is the TROXUS Explorer e-bike. This is the step over version, so you're gonna have this big bar right here, but if you are hard at getting over your bike and you want a step through version, they also have that. But if you want this nice blue color, you can't get the blue color in the step through version, so you're gonna have to get the high step if you want this color, which I think is gorgeous. Blue is my favorite color. But I wanna see if this bike is really worth the money because it's $22.99. So let me bring you in here with the camera. Let's kind of go over some of the stuff on the bike and then we'll go ride it later in the video. So let's start from the back and work our way to the front. So right in the back, right here, you're gonna have a rear rack. This isn't the best rack I've ever seen on an electric bike, but it is nice that it comes with one. It does hold up to 55 pounds. That's what the max load is right there. I would have liked to seen a rear brake light on the rack. Some companies have been doing them and putting them like right here. I think that would have been a very nice touch to the bike because that's the farthest end of the bike, and having a brake light right at the edge would have been a lot more safer. They do have rear lights right here. There's one on this side and one on the other side, if you can see that. These are very nice. They're integrated into the frame, so you see no wires whatsoever. So that's super, super nice. You also get metal fenders, which I like. They're not plastic, so they're gonna be very durable. They have the logos on the back right here, and these are covering the 26 by 4 inches of tire because these things are massively big. So if you want to sit very high off the ground, this is the bike for you. And compared to some other bikes that I have gotten, these Kenda tires are very thick, so you can really see the tread pattern sticking out of the tire. That's going to be very good for going off-road. Compared to something like the Ariel Rider Kepler, these are low-profile knobbies. And then compared to this bike, they're kind of low profile also on the BR100. On the side of the tire, it says you can air it up from 5 PSI to 30 PSI, so you can do whatever you want in between there. I have mine aired up to 25 PSI, but I do feel like that's on the higher side, so it's gonna be a little bit rougher for me riding, but I do wanna get the best range out of it. But if you want more comfort, just air them down to probably 15 or 20. Coming down here, you're gonna have your Bafang 750 watt motor right here, and you're also gonna have an 8-speed Shimano Hyperglide sitting right there, and you have an upgraded Shimano Sierra derailleur, which is a very nice touch over the Altis that normally these bikes come with. So I really like that. It should shift very, very good compared to the Altis. But one thing I feel like they're missing right here in this section is I wish they would have had a cover on this frame right here, because when you do shift or you're going over rough terrain, this is gonna hit your paint. And I feel like it's gonna get scratched over time. So you might wanna put something on there if you pick up one of these bikes. I feel like that's a missed opportunity right there. Most bikes do come with covers and this one doesn't. Now moving on up to the seat. It's gonna be adjustable. It's a decent looking seat. It's decently wide. It's not super wide, but it's not super skinny. And you also have some adjustments right here. So if you wanna sit closer or farther back, you can. So you can slide it way back here, or you can slide it more up here. It just depends on your riding posture, on where you wanna be at. And you also have some room to move it pretty high if you really want to. Now you have some logos right back here. You got some logos right there, which are right under the water bottle holder that sits right there, which is pretty nice. So you can bolt something up to that. You have the nice logo right on the side. It is non-removable. This is not a sticker, so this is always gonna stay on the bike, so you cannot take that off. Our bike got a little bit scratched up, if you guys can see. That's the only damage that I saw that came on the bike. I feel like sooner or later these bikes should be coming with touch-up paint just so you can touch them up just in case something like that happens, because if you spend this type of money on a bike, that would be a little bit disappointing. Now moving underneath the bike, this is a 48 volt system and it's gonna be a 20 amp hour battery, so that is a very nice battery size for this type of bike. You should get anywhere from about 30 miles of range with throttle only up to about 62 miles of range if you have it in the lowest pedal assist. So that's not too bad, and that's a realistic number. Now moving on to the front suspension, you have decent amount of travel. It's not a lot of travel, but it's definitely decent for what you're gonna be probably using this bike for, and it's very stiff. I had the preload adjusted all the way back. You can also lock this out if you want to, but from my riding experience, it doesn't move very well, so locking it out is probably gonna be pointless. You're gonna notice there is no headlight on the front. Normally bikes have a headlight mounted right there, but this is only to hold the metal fender onto the bike, which we'll get into that in a second. The light is actually right up here, which I think is a nice placement for the light. I have seen it at night and it is very bright in the center, but it's not very wide at all. So if you want a very wide headlight, you're gonna wanna switch that out. Which now we're in the front of the bike. You're gonna see it comes with hydraulic brakes, and these are some fantastic brakes right here. They're from Tektro, and they feel like butter. They absolutely feel like butter. We're gonna have to test them out and see how they actually work. These grips up here, beautiful. These are some of the nicest grips I've ever felt. I actually think I wanna put these on some of my other e-bikes that I have in the garage right now. They are locking, so they're not gonna come off and move. You have a Shimano shifter right here, so it's gonna be front and back. It's very nice that you have the front lever right up here, and then you have the other one sitting right there. All right, so let's sit on the bike real quick, and this is what you're gonna be looking at if you were to get one and pick it up and sit on it for the first time. You're gonna notice that the thumb throttle is on the left side because you have your shifter on this right side right here, which is perfectly fine. It's just a little bit out of the ordinary because most e-bikes that get shipped out are always on the right side for the throttle. This is a cheap throttle, by the way, but I actually like them because they're just plain and simple. But depending on your hand size, it might hurt your hands on these edges a little bit, but it hasn't hurt mine since, and I always use them on all my bikes, but your mileage might vary on that. You also have a nice button layout right here. If your hands are pretty big, you might bump into some of these buttons on accident, but you just hold this one to turn the display on, which is absolutely insanely bright. You can see my camera getting dimmer just because it's so bright of a display. If you hold this right button right here, this turns on the headlight, and you can see that the screen dimmed down a little bit. So that's the headlight. We'll have to do a second video riding this to work, and I'll show you exactly how it looks. And then you also have this down button right here, and the down button puts it in, oh God, it puts it in a mode where you can walk the bike, so it kind of walks with you and everything like that, so you can hold that down. And then you have this up button that changes the pedal assist, so you can go from 1 to 5. And then you have this middle button right here. If you hold this, this takes you into some settings. I changed the speed to 99. That's the max that you can go. And I really think that's all you can really do in there. You could do miles per hour or kilometers per hour. I don't know what that is. It's just off. And then this is the backlight, so you can have it lighter or brighter. There's no real custom settings to change in there, so that's pretty much it. Here is a better look at the headlight. I have my garage open just ever so slightly, and you can definitely see that it's lighting up a lot of stuff over there. I feel like the brake lights are actually pretty bright for what they are, and they also flash when you hit the brake levers. So that's a nice safety feature right there. Like I said, I just wish they would have had some type of brake on the rear rack so it would have been farther out from the bike. Now, here are some of the things I don't like on the bike. I don't like that this cable right here is literally pulling on the display. Like, that is absolutely pulling on the display. So to get that unraveled, I would have to take some of this off so I can get the cable to not be so stressed out right here, because if this pulls out, I don't know what this affects, but I'm pretty sure the screen won't work anymore after that gets ripped out. The cable management is okay. I feel like it could be a little tiny bit better. I'm not a big fan of these little cable tie, whatever you want to call it. I actually like the sleeves that companies put over this. So that's one of the downsides that I don't like about it. And I do like that it comes with metal fenders, but I don't like about these metal fenders is this. Can you guys hear that? I don't like the fact that that's gonna make noise when I go off-roading and hit stuff. And we're just gonna see how it is over the camera when we actually ride. We'll see if we hear it or not, but I don't like the fact that it rattles. And I made sure all these bolts were tight, so it had nothing to do with me. That's just how it came. But other than that, that's really it. I believe this bike can hold up someone that's like 275 pounds, and this bike is about 91 to 92 pounds. So it is not a light boy. So moving this thing around is a little hard to do. And I felt like it would have held someone that was probably 350 pounds, but that's pretty much what it says. It's an aluminum alloy frame, so it's supposed to be light, but with all the nice quality parts it has on there, like the metal fenders and the rack and all that stuff, that's why it kind of makes it a little bit more heavier. But let's get on the way and go. I'll switch you to my GoPro right now, and let's actually see if this bike performs well with how it looks. All right. Now that we're at a full battery charge, let's hit a top speed run really quick. right after this four-way stop so we can get an idea of how fast this bike actually is. Now to hit the top speed, holy crap, that thing's instant. Oh man, we'll talk about this in a second. You can only go up to 20 miles per hour on the throttle only, but if you pedal, you should be able to hit 28 miles per hour. So we're doing 29. It feels like I'm ghost pedaling right now. Let me try to go through the gears really quick and see if I can change that a little bit. It feels a little bit better, but I'm surprised. We're doing 31 miles per hour. This thing is rated for 28, and this definitely feels faster than 28 miles per hour. This thing's nice. So you're gonna basically hold like a solid 30 miles per hour, and you're gonna be passing people that ride regular bikes in no time. That's why I gotta go electric, baby. Electric. All right, I'm gonna blow through this light. Wow, that's something we gotta talk about right away. You know how fast these pedals work? As soon as I start pedaling, like the instant my foot like rotates anything, like not even a quarter of a turn, it is like instant. That thing is so damn fast. I've never been on a bike that activates that quick. So we're chilling, right? Dude, that is absolutely insane. All right, stop. And then this. Woohoo! Oh, wow. If you guys like pedaling bikes and you like to get a little bit of a workout as you have a little bit of assistance, that is badass. That is absolutely fantastic. And if you don't want to go this fast while pedaling on this bike, you can always turn down the assist to like 1 through 4, and you don't have to be doing this. But I want to go as fast as possible. And yeah, assist number 5 is giving us 30 miles an hour, which is fantastic. Now, I would like to see them implement the throttle only to go up to 28 miles per hour. And there's really no Bluetooth app, so you're not going to be able to get any software updates on this to actually fix that. I feel like that's a little bit of a miss by the company. I mean, it's labeled as, I'm assuming, a class 2 bike with throttle only, and then a class 3 when you pedal. All right, man, I'm moving, so please go. Now, I know it says it's a 750 watt hub motor. It feels close to about 1,000. Maybe it has a peak of 1,000. It feels very nice and healthy and strong. I'm not having any issues with this motor. I have seen some people do reviews on this bike, and going up hills was a little bit of a struggle to some. So if you live in like a hilly area like San Francisco and stuff like that, I'd probably highly suggest maybe looking at a different bike other than this one. But for my type of riding, this is perfectly fine. And this feels so smooth. Like this is probably, look at, oh God, okay, see? I can actually pedal this bike and not use my hands. This bike is so damn stable. I've never been able to do this on any bike, like at all. I feel like I've been riding this bike for miles and miles because I can just be so stable on the road. And yeah, I'm on a smooth surface for the most part, but come on, I mean, I'm pedaling too. That's crazy. This is a solid built bike. I understand it's expensive. Not everyone's probably gonna wanna buy it because of that price. It's not the fastest for the money, but you're definitely getting some high-end parts. Now, I've been riding the Ariel Rider Kepler for a while, and even though that bike has a lot of nice like stuff on it, and it has a lot of power, it feels very cheap. This bike doesn't feel cheap. Now, I'm really curious to go off-road with it because the suspension is so hard to move. It barely wants to move, but I kind of like that in a way because it doesn't, as soon as I sit on it, it doesn't just sag down. When I got on some other e-bikes that we just recently reviewed, as soon as you sit on the bike, you just see it kind of like sag. And I'm not a heavy guy, I'm 160 pounds. So, I mean, if you're way over my limit, which this bike is rated for what? It's like 275 pounds. And I feel like that's gonna be good for heavier riders for the suspension because it's definitely hard to move. And I have it on the lowest setting. I cannot move this any farther. It's actually very hard to move, but I can definitely go and put more preload, but that's just not gonna be ideal. Very nice bike though. I mean, I'm liking it so far. And one thing that's cool about it is the way they put the kickstand. It's not gonna come in contact with the pedals because some bikes, they do that. I don't know why, but that's definitely not gonna hit anything if you're moving it around your garage or anywhere that you need to move it and you have the kickstand down, you're gonna set it up. Another thing I forgot to mention while we were talking about it in the garage is this rear rack is adjustable. So there's screws right here. There's one here, one on the other side, And it's almost at the very end because they have little knobs right here. But you can loosen these up and you can slide this way. Now I was gonna put it more at a slight angle, but depends on like what you have for cargo. You have that adjustability to kind of move that around, and I feel like that's kind of cool. All right, so I want to take this bike off-road, so we're going to go up this path, and we're just going to keep riding until we hit one of the main streets, and I just kind of want to see how it is if you were to live in some rocky terrain and you had to ride in dirt all the time. Let's come up this. That wasn't terrible to get up that. I mean, it was real quick. I feel like if it would have kept going for like a block or so, it would have probably struggled. But not too bad. And I kind of do like the throttle being limited to 20. I know that sounds weird to say, but like right now I'm just cruising. Like I'm not trying to do anything like fancy or anything like that. I'm just kind of cruising back and I'm doing 20. And then when we get over on the other side, we'll start doing a little bit more than that, just to kind of get an idea of how it is when we're doing like 30 miles an hour in dirt. These are some pretty big tires. Now I am hearing that fender ever so slightly. I thought it was actually gonna make a lot of noise, but I only heard it that one time because we hit a really big bump. But so far it actually hasn't gotten on my nerves or anything like that, what I thought it was. So we're good on the front fender, even though I thought it was gonna be a problem. And this bike is solid. It's a little bit more like bumpier than some bikes, but it just feels so well built. Oh God. Woo! The first 3 miles we're taking it off-roading and getting it all dirty. Go, go, go. Oh, obviously I was able to make that. Oh. Now what I hit back there was a little tiny bit rough coming onto the sidewalk, but you can get a suspension seat post if you guys really want to. If this is like one of your bikes that you really want, you like the style of it and everything like that, that is very well gonna give you better overall suspension feeling in the bike because it's a hardtail. There's only suspension in the front. So that's probably what I would add to this bike if it was my daily to go back and forth to work. Which stay tuned to the channel because after we finish this video, we will do a video going to work and taking it out with the headlight and all that stuff. We'll see how it works and we'll see how it does for a 14-mile trip. Right now I want to test out the brakes. So I got to figure out something to go off of. So I think I'm going to go off this little metal slab in the road right now. We're doing 29, almost 30. So yeah, right here, right in the front of this. Go. Ooh, yeah, all right. So I wasn't trying to slide too much. It braked like normal. I thought it was gonna do a little bit better braking than that, but the brakes felt very smooth the whole entire way. I felt no skipping. I felt no issues with it. There was absolutely no noise from the brakes. I just didn't want to fully ruin the tires by just locking them up and just having a big bald spot. But yeah, that's not too bad. That's about like 4 bike lengths right there. So probably looks a bit farther on the GoPro, but that's not bad at all. All right, so let's start right here and let's do a test. We'll do one with throttle only and then we'll do one with just pedaling. And let's see how fast this bike is. So 0 to 30, let's go. Now you do got to give it a little bit of a push. I think from like 0 to 2 miles per hour, it kind of takes a second, but we're already doing 20. What the heck? This bike is fast for what it is. But Fang motors are fantastic. Look at this. Woo-hoo-hoo! 29. And we're about to hit 30. 30 right there, baby, 30. Hell yeah. Not bad at all. Now let's try the throttle only and see how that works. All right, so we're gonna be going downhill ever so slightly, but I think we're gonna hit 20 miles an hour before I even hit the downhill. But throttle only, 1, 2, 3, go. Not a single pedal. That's good, man. That's surprisingly fast. Now check this out. So as we're moving, I gotta go a little slower because the max speed is 20 on this bike. But look how fast the throttle works. Dude, what? How is it so responsive? There's not like a delay at all. I love that. And then the pedals are the same thing. They just start working right away. This feels like quality. I'm liking it so far. The only thing I'm not liking about this bike so far is the price. I feel like it should be kind of in the same ballpark as the Ariel Rider Kepler because it definitely has way better parts than the Ariel Rider Kepler, but it's obviously not as fast. Oh dang, go bike, go. 1, 3. Woo! Oh, that was a big pothole, and I went right over that. Man, I could throw so many people on this bike, and they would be so safe. Like, you sit very tall, people are gonna see you. You got a headlight, you got a brake light, big fat tires, so it's decently comfortable. Again, we aired our tires up to 25 PSI. If I wanted to be a little bit more softer, we can always go down to like 10 or 15, but you know, you're gonna definitely lose some range. And we're still sitting at 5 bars. I've went 5 miles so far, and we're still at 5 bars. And yeah, I have been pedaling a little bit, but we are in assist number 5. So we're getting the max speed out of this bike. We can't go slower than that. We want to go as fast as possible. Now, pedaling on this bike, going back to that real quick, is you are ghost pedaling ever so slightly. I went through all the gears, and it feels good down low, but once you're over like 27 miles per hour, you're just pretty much like free spinning. I can go down pretty low. These gears shift phenomenal. I think we already talked about that. I really like the feel of them. I just really feel connected with this bike. I feel like I'm connected to it. It's connected to the road, and it's performing very well. Now, the motor is a little bit louder than most e-bikes out there, but I'm not having a problem with it. So one thing I noticed on this bike is that if you are pedaling and using the throttle, you can't do both. It will bring you back down to 20 miles per hour. So you have to choose. If you want to go over 20 miles an hour, you're just gonna have to let off the throttle. And if you want to stay at 20 miles an hour, just use the throttle only. But that's kind of weird. I thought that if you just use both, it's gonna allow you to go up to whatever speed. But no, it actually cuts out power. So that's actually very interesting to me. I didn't think they would do something like that. Let's try out the turning. I really want to see how this bike is to turn. Woo. It is definitely harder to turn than most e-bikes because it's so big of a tire. You definitely have to put your body weight into it. It curves very nicely once you're in the turn, but trying to get into a turn, it's a little bit of a pain in the ass. It's not as easy as some other bikes that have skinnier tires. So you gotta pick and choose your poison. Do you want skinny tires that turns very like quick and responsive? Or do you want more of a cushion tire with a wider tread pattern that's a lot safer? It's all down to preference on what you like. Me personally, I actually like skinnier tire e-bikes. But when I have someone that's new that wants to ride a bike, I feel more comfortable if they were on a fat tire e-bike. They're so much more safer. But yeah, like turning this, kind of, I guess you could say it kind of feels like a boat. Like if you drove a heavy car and you went to turn it, that's kind of how it feels. And then if you turn like a smaller vehicle, it's gonna turn a lot easier. All right, so we have done 6 miles, a little bit over that, 6.4 miles. That's what it's gonna jump up to right now. And we've went down 1 battery bar. So that's not looking too bad at all. I'm expecting when we go to work and do another video that we're gonna probably be at 3 bars, I'm assuming, when we do 14 miles round trip. That's just my guess. Oh, I love these brakes. I love them. God, man, they're so nice. I'm digging it, guys. I'm digging it. I know you guys are probably thinking like, man, he didn't like the Kepler, but he likes this bike. And I'll tell you right now, it feels quality. It feels planted to the ground. It feels solid. It's performing like phenomenally. Yeah, it's not doing no 35 miles an hour, but we're only like 5 miles an hour, like shy of that. And yeah, you're paying a premium, but man, does it feel so nice in the hand. That's why I didn't even want to wear my gloves, because these grips felt so nice and I really wanted to feel them with my hands. I really need to find out what grips they put on here and put them on my other e-bikes. I'm going with the car. Go, go, go. So personally me, since we're towards the end of the video, to me it's a win, but the price is just ever so slightly higher than I would like. I feel like $2,300 is just a little up there. I feel like if it was priced next to like the Ariel Rider Kepler, probably somewhere around like 1,900 bucks, somewhere around there, I feel like this would have been a knockout of the park. But I understand they put some very high quality parts on this bike, and that's kind of why it's at the price range that it's at. It's not like out of mind, you know, like it's affordable. It's just a little bit over what I think people's budget would be for what you're getting. That's all. But I swear, if you guys love pedaling bikes and you want something that has instant power, I mean, you can't go wrong. That is absolutely insane. Not even like half a second. It's like a quarter of a second. So I feel like for quality and like ride comfort, especially if you're, you know, just on a flat road, this is probably like a 9.2 or a 9.3 out of 10. It's fantastic. Price, I would probably say it's like a 6.5 out of 10 for the price. And the overall bike, I would probably have to throw it somewhere around like an 8.5. I really think this is one of the better bikes I've ridden since the BR100. And I'm not into big mountain bikes. I'm just not. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video of me riding around. Stay tuned, subscribe to the channel, because I will do another video where we go to work. We'll see how the lights work. We'll see if we can get other people to ride it. And we'll just have a blast with it. I might try to ride it a couple more times if possible, and then we'll probably just sell it at the end of the day. So if you guys are interested in picking it up, let me know, because I got tons of bikes coming in. We just got a C3 Storm in, and I got no room. But I'll see you guys in the next one. You guys are the true MVPs for sticking around to the end. And stay tuned for more videos, because Cane Built is probably going to be sponsoring one of these videos, and they're going to be hooking you guys up with a Super 73 seat. And if you guys like content like this, please like the video. It definitely helps the algorithm of YouTube. And I will see you in the next one. Peace out.